Alright, here we go. Here's the key switch. I'm going to be on the gas. We're neutral. Okay. Interesting. Do I hear something leaking? It's like, psh. Do we have a shower going on somewhere? Is everything good? Everything's good under here. I mean, fuel lines could be... No, cripes. Oh yeah, there we go. Well, we were close. Blown fuel line under the car. Alrighty, time to fix the next problem in the domino here. So here's the fuel feed line. See a hose, metal line. There's a tiny pinhole right here. You can probably see it. You see fuel is just dripping out of there. So internal corrosion. Usually what we see, 9 times out of 10, is external corrosion causing a leak. In this case, there's water in the fuel system. It was internal corrosion. Fuel line corroded right through to the outside. Never actually seen that before. So what's the easiest thing to do here? Well, gotta get this fitting loose. We can cut a section of the line out and, you know, use NICOP line to replace a section of this. I think that's the easiest thing to do. I mean, the hose has actually has quite a bit of extra length, so we could just cut this, flare it. I mean, it's probably rusty on the inside, so we need good metal to make a flare, and just reuse this fitting. But is this going to come apart? I don't know. You cut it and install a compression fitting. I mean, it's only like 30 psi. It's not a brake line. But if this line rusted through right here, you know, could it rust through somewhere else? Should we replace the entire line? Maybe. The car doesn't look terrible under here. It's just internal rust. Alrighty, so for now, I think the path of least resistance here is just to cut off the section of pipe with the with the pinhole, reflare it right here, and reattach it to the hose, which will, it'll reach. I don't want to replace the whole fuel line right now because we don't even know if the car runs. We have to do other stuff. It doesn't stop. This is just to get us by, quick and easy. And then if the owner wants to, keep going with the full restoration, we can do fuel lines and brake lines and all that good stuff. So you want to make sure that the line itself, there's a lot of metal there. So it looks like the line is in fine shape except for right there. Look at that. Pinhole just rusted right through. Insanity. This must have been the low spot, and the water, a couple drops of water just sitting in there and rusting this thing away. So let's take the fitting off. If I can slide it off here. We'll slide the fitting on here and then flare it with just a cheapo flaring toolkit. So I'll choose the right size of fitting here. It's 5/16. Looks like it might be 5/16. And this is a bubble flare, like a Euro style, not a double. So basically you just make this end, and then this will squeeze it against the female end of the hose. So let's try to do that. Alright, so fuel line reinstalled. Is this thing gonna fire up? I don't know. Let's try again, right? Probably gonna leak somewhere else. It's running, it's misfiring like I suspected. Let's let it stabilize here. Oh crap! I told you it's gonna leak again. Alright, so I've got some good news. This fuel line actually has a fitting right here. That's perfect. We'll disconnect here and we'll replace just this part under the car with NICOP 5/16 line. That will definitely prevent further blowouts like this. So let me get this undone and we'll install a new line. It should be, it should at least run. And then we'll go for the brakes and see if we can drive this thing around. Alright, so here's the old line. It completely snapped off here by the front, so it was definitely shot at all of the positions of the clips. Crazy stuff. So that's the length of it. Now I have a roll of 5/16 NICOP line. This is 25 feet. So easiest way to do here is feed the end over the cross member through these two clips and put the fitting on here and flare it, and then connect this side and then finish up towards the back. And NICOP is amazing. You can really super easy to work with. Let's just flare it out a little bit here. So this is where those fancy hydraulic expensive flaring tools are kind of useless, because you're working in tight quarters and you want to make the line right on the car. I don't have time to take it to a bench or, you know, do all that stuff. Let's see if that works. Yep, we have a beautiful bubble flare, Euro style. Look at that. Nice and even. So let's put that in the fitting here and then stretch the line out. Flare it on that side. This car should start running and not leak any gas. Alright, here's the progress. Beautiful NICOP 5/16 line, flared, and original connector used. So that's in the clip. That's in the clip. And then clip this one in. And the claw is actually very handy for these Euro style pipe holders. You kind of stick it through here, then fold it over and just kind of boop. And it clips right on. You're done. Just beautiful. Make sure the pipe goes in the little rubber holder first. There we go. Kind of, there's the little pin. There's no way I could set up a tripod under here, so at least to show the highlights. Oh, man, that's awesome. So we just have to finish up that fitting over there. This car will be, at least it should start and run and not leak gas. All right, here we go. Try number 3. Place your bets now. We're gonna have any leaks. Hopefully not. It might crank for a little while. Oh, we got some acorns coming out of the exhaust pipe. Okay. Check for leaks here. Here are the fuel pumps. I don't see any leaks so far. Nothing's dripping. And we know number 1 is not firing. That injector's stuck. And taking the lifters haven't been pumped up with oil in 10 years, so we'll let it run for a little bit. The number 1 injector is not operational. Alright, well, I guess we could just replace the injector since we're doing all the fuel stuff. Make sure it runs good, and then after maybe running it through half a tank, I'm going to replace that fuel filter. I don't want to do it now because there's a lot of crud in the system, and I want the old filter to catch as much of it as possible before putting on the new filter. But, yeah. That was step 1. Step 2 is going to be brakes. It doesn't have any rear brake pads. Front brakes, you guys are going to want to see this. We'll leave this for the next part. Craziest brake rotors you've ever seen on any car in your life. Time for some brakes. So we know the rear wheels don't have any pads, which is kind of strange. So let's see what's going on here. Hopefully the wheel will come off. Sweet. And you might ask, why am I not doing this in the garage? Well, I don't even want to drive this thing into the garage with... Oh, I guess it does have the inner pad, but not the outer pad. Okay, and you see how far extended the calipers are. So I'd rather change the rotors and pads here. Oh, nice, the rotor comes off. Makes our life easier. Yeah, we'll pop this off and install new rotors and pads, at least in the back. And then for the front, that's going to be a whole different story. Alright, so obviously everything here is a rusty mess. At least the pins moved really nicely. The parking brake is seized solid. It's one of those combo calipers with the hose and the cable coming to it. But we need to get this bracket off to get the rotor off, obviously. Oh, let's see here. Okay, there's our bracket. I have to clean those up, lube them up. Wow, 10 years of rust there. So I'm going to get the brake caliper retraction kit, retract that, and with the parking brake is, for the moment, it's just seized up. So I'm not going to worry about that for now. I just want to get this car rolling. Well, not surprising, the owner provided the wrong rotors and the wrong brake pads. Now this car is, very unique, so getting parts for it is not as easy as just clicking the first available thing in Rock Auto. So this is not going to work. So I'll order my own parts now that we have the rotor off. It looks like this instead of like that, so bigger, and it's vented in the back, and the pads are very different than the ones in the box here. So time to get more parts. Alright, let's see if this sucker will move under its own power. I'm going to get it in the shop and finish up the engine work. The front brake rotors are going to be fun, so I want to get in the shop for that. Okay. See if the clutch works. Should probably turn the key to unlock the steering wheel, huh? It's moving! This is the first time this car has moved in 10 years. Well, before I go too far, let's see what's up with the brakes. That rear caliper I retracted. There we go. Now we got brakes. Okay, it stops. Oh, yeah, the brakes aren't good. It's running on 4 cylinders, but it actually goes. This is pretty cool. Actually, it's pretty quiet. This has a misfire. The lifter's quieted down. I replaced the injector, and I don't know. We'll see. All right. While we're waiting on brake parts, I want to replace this number 1 fuel injector. Obviously, OEM's not available, so I got FJ202. On Rock Auto, it says standard motor products, but it comes in an ultra power fuel injection box. OE quality, performance engineered, fuel injection specialist, performance fuel injectors. And it looks like a pretty old box, so I'm hoping the quality is going to be acceptable. Here's the injector. Does it look close to what we need? I think so. So let's install it. Now again, it is aftermarket. It's not remanufactured. But that's the only choice we have. So 2 bolts for the fuel rail. It's loose. I got the O-rings. Spray a little WD-40 on them. And just carefully start prying up on this rail. See if I need a old blue, right? Or what does I do cars? What does Eric use over there? The big blue pry bar. Oh, there it is, and there it is. So we'll unplug this one. And it does have a little clip. So we'll undo the little clip. Alright, let's see what happens here. Still gotta put this new lock cylinder in. Neutral. Ooh, smooth. We don't have a tack. It's a little reluctant to rev on a cold engine here. Running nice and smooth. Put these guys back on. Sweet. The fuel pump is noisy, but running. So pretty neat. Ooh, even the high beam started working. Nice. Maybe they only work when the engine's running. Oh, don't have to worry about that. Why don't we have auto down anymore? I don't know. That one's still stuck. That one's still stuck. This one works. All right. Doing pretty good. We're getting pretty close to driving this thing. I'm excited. Alright, front brakes. So if you look closely at the wheel, it kind of looks like there's another wheel behind the alloy wheel. It's not a plastic beauty cover. This is the wheel. Let's take it off. See what's hiding behind this. Now you might ask, what the heck is this? It's it's a steel wheel inside the aluminum wheel. Well, these are called Audi UFO rotors. How do they work? Well, it's basically an inverted rotor. I googled, what is this thing? Why do the rotors look like this? Well, back in the early 90s, the wheels were only 15 inches, and Audi wanted to put bigger diameter rotors in these small wheels. This is what they came up with. So the rotor, instead of being bolted to the hub, in order to make the outer diameter as close to the wheel as possible, they basically welded a rotor to a steel wheel. It's insane. And it looks kind of homemade, doesn't it? So the caliper now is squeezing the rotor kind of, it's inverted from over there instead of the traditional over here. And guess what? You can't get these on Rock Auto. These things are unobtainium. The only link I found to get a new set of these rotors is eBay from Germany, and guess how much a pair of rotors cost? About $1,500 for an old Audi. Insanity. They only used these, I think, for 3 years on these faster models, and also the Audi V8 in the early 90s. The only 2 vehicles in the entire world production that use these UFO type rotors. So we can't get any. So the question is, they're really rusted up. Will they clean up with, can we drive them around with the old pads until the rotors clean up, or do we need to get them off and take them to a machine shop? How are you going to get a lathe on the inside of that disc? You have to go from here and then kind of 270 degrees and then run the cutter from the inside. It's insane. And how do you get these off of here? Well, great question. We might have to read the instructions. These things are funky. You see the pad is right there. Well, that's the inner pad. And that's the outer pad, traditionally. But to get the rotor off, I did watch a YouTube video where this clip is kind of weird, and you have to spread the pads and then kind of start taking the rotor off this way and then kind of get it out of the caliper. You can't take the caliper off right now because the rotor's in the way. Usually it's the other way around. You can't take the rotor off because the caliper's in the way. So, insane design. I want to take these to a machine shop and ask them, can you guys resurface these? Because we're not getting new ones. And, obviously they're just going to destroy the pads because the surface looks like that. Yeah. That's just going to eat pads right up. So, this is not going to be cheap. Alright, here we go. Oh, it's so close. Oh. Oh, man. Wow. Insane.